Welcome back to the Acteria Magic Channel. I'm Steve, the Acteria. Today, we're talking about Faldorn, Dread, Wolf Herald. Okay, my voice is not going to handle that. Alright, but before we get into that, I want to let you know we're sponsored today by MTG On Command. They make these really cool 3D printed deck boxes where you get to show off your commander. Maybe declare to your opponents, this is what I'm going to do to you. Or maybe not. Link in the description below for 10% off your first purchase. Now, also, if you happen to have any interest in proxies, I am doing that over my Patreon. Link in the description below for that. If you have any interest in supporting me in a different way, I'd really appreciate you taking a look. Okay, Faldorn. Faldorn is a 3-drop. They make these like commanders really cheap, and she reminds me of who's that girl from Ygritte from Game of Thrones? It's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. She's even got like her own like wolves to go with it. Anyway, she's a 3-drop 3/3 human druid. Whenever you cast a spell from exile or a land enters the battlefield under your control from exile, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So we're gonna build a little army out of exiling stuff? Heck yeah, we are. All right, pay 1. Tap, discard a card, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of just losing my cards indefinitely, so that's where the honorable mentions come into play. Bag of Holding and Containment Construct. Now, I don't know why these weren't in the Precon. Not really sure. In fact, it really confuses me. But anyway, for 1 mana, you get a Bag of Holding artifact. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Cool. It does touch the graveyard, for the record, okay? Pay 2 mana, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Or pay 4, sacrifice Bag of Holding, return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. Now, you do have to save that 4 generic mana for the time whenever you get your cards back. But you have the option of being able to pitch, save them in your Bag of Holding. I don't know anybody who's going to waste a targeted removal spell in Bag of Holding unless you have like 30 cards underneath it, in which case you should have cracked it already. But I really love it. Containment Construct. This says whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play that card this turn. So discard it, get to play it anyway. Pretty fantastic. Especially if you missed your land drop or you haven't played a land, you discard it to a Faldorn and then you play it again right off of Containment Construct. It's fantastic. Now, next up we have number honorable mention. Okay, Valikut Exploration. I think this should have been included in the Precon. But what do I know? For 1 red and 2 generic, it says an enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Sweet. Okay, at the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Valikut Exploration, you put them into their owner's graveyard, then the Valikut Exploration deals that much damage to each opponent. So if you happen to fetch on your turn, play a fetch, crack a fetch, you're going to get 2 landfall triggers off of Valikut. And then at your end step, those cards are going to go to your graveyard, and you are going to shoot everyone at the table for 2 damage. It's incremental damage, and it's also card advantage. Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Number 5 on our list. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. I really love this card, and I don't know why she doesn't get more love in EDH. She's a 3-drop 4 loyalty commander. I almost never see her attacked. Like, no one ever attacks her, but she says you may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Not green creatures. She's the only one in the form in the game that I'm aware of that lets you cast all creatures at flash speed. Outside of like ones that let you cast anything at flash speed. But for +1, until your next turn, up to 1 target creature gains vigilance and reach. Cool, defensive. -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down, put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and may cast it if it's in a creature spell. This plays around with Faldorn so perfectly. It's just like handmade for her. This is fantastic. It's amazing. Can't speak highly enough. She should have been probably further down on my list, but let's continue. And she's only like a couple bucks. Like, get a copy. She's a couple bucks, and she's only got 1. Wait, she's got 2 printings? Whatever. Anyway, number 4 on our list. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. You're gonna have tons of little 2/2s floating around out there. I really highly recommend that you play Toski so you can get some card advantage. For a green, 3 generic squirrel, this spell can't be countered indestructible. Whenever he attacks, he has to attack each combat if able, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So he's always attacking, but he doesn't care because he's indestructible. He's just He's a little bit gnarly. I love that little cook claw thing he's got going on with his arm. I mean, did he lose that hand? I think he must have lost that hand. What's the link? Tell me below what the story is on that claw hand of his. Somebody out there knows. All right, number 3 on our list, anger. Okay. I don't know why this wasn't in the deck either. For 1 red and 3 generic, you get a 2/2 incarnation with haste. Okay, don't care. As long as anger's in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. My commander's gonna put it in the graveyard for 1 mana. So good. I mean, why wouldn't that be in the deck? Why wouldn't you play that card? Anyway, it makes planning for their turns a lot harder whenever you have haste on everything. So much harder. All right, next up, number 2, Apex Devastator. Okay. For 10, you get a 10/10 cascade. 4 cascades, okay? Now, he's 10 mana, but there's so many different ways to cheat him into play. And as soon as you cascade with him, whenever you cast a spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exile cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Multiple instances of cascade, each trigger separately. Okay, it says you may cast it without paying its mana cost. This is an exiled card. Again, creating a 2/2. That's what Apex Devastator himself is going to be a 10/10, but then he's also going to, with Faldorn, you're going to get 4 2/2s. So you're going to get a total of 18 power just from casting Apex Devastator and the Cascade stuff. That's not to mention the other stuff that you're getting with the Cascade triggers. Oh, you should win the game by that if you play this. But number 1 on our list, bow, Crater Hoof Behemoth. Surprise of surprises, one of the best green creatures ever printed is here on my list. Anyway, if you're not familiar, he's an 8-drop 5/5 with haste. He says when he enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Yikes! This is freaking good. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, we are sponsored by MTG On Command. They do some really, really great stuff with their 3D printed deck boxes. Link in the description below for 10% off. And my Patreon down below. Still, really would appreciate it if you just check that out. Even if it's not normally your thing, I would appreciate you looking. We're doing some really cool custom stuff, and this is a new idea that I have that I'm trying to work on. Maybe even some of you have seen it from last year, but we're still trying to perfect it, and I can't wait to show you whenever it gets done, because it will happen. It will. I will succeed at this. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. There's my button. Ah!